The first article I wanted to look at is titled, Jim Bakker, Christian Leaders and Politicians Will Be Murdered If Trump is Not Reelected. This is on Right Wing Watch, and it's actually one article that shows a single video, but there are a couple of videos I wanted to look at. I wanted to talk about Jim Bakker's 2019 predictions or prophecies about Trump becoming president and the consequences of him losing the election. Because, you know, we're in 2021 now, so we should have a clear picture of whether or not Jim Bakker was right. If he was right, we should be able to verify it. So let's give this article a read and see what Jim Bakker was saying in 2019. End Times prepper pastor Jim Bakker warned on his television program today that if President Trump is not reelected in 2020, Christian leaders and politicians will be murdered in the streets. That's a tall claim. Let's watch a clip and see what he said.
Everybody, basically everybody except 3 people that I know of, said that Donald Trump could not be elected. They said all the polls say he will not be elected.
Okay, so interesting point he's making here. This was June 19th, 2019, okay? So this is like 3 years after the 2016 election. What did the polls look like in 2016? They leaned Hillary. The polls were accurate. It was all of the political commentators who were saying Hillary's absolutely most definitely 100% going to win. There was no reason to think that or to make that claim based off of what the polls were showing. They showed Hillary Clinton had a slight lead. The lead wasn't wide enough, it turns out. The simulations of elections showed Hillary Clinton won 73 times out of each of the 100 simulated elections that took place. Donald Trump won 27 out of the 100 simulated elections. I believe that's what it was. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. That's not 0 to 100. That wasn't a 100% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Donald Trump just hit on one of those 27 simulations. He just happened to pull it out. And it was very, very close in 2016. Hillary Clinton, of course, got the popular vote. Donald Trump only won through the Electoral College at the time. So it was not unreasonable for people to say, I don't think Trump's going to win. I said I don't think he's going to win. I knew there was a solid chance he might, though. There's an important distinction to be made. People make out like he blew it out of the water in 2016, and that just did not happen.
How come he was elected? Because God's people voted. Right. And the world knows it.
That's right.
The enemies of the gospel know it. You know?
I find it so fascinating that they rallied around Donald Trump. Like the evangelical voters became so obsessed with Trump as their leader. What a terrible choice for a leader, right? For like somebody who claims to be like the moral majority or whatever. Is somebody who claims moral superiority to rally behind somebody like Donald Trump? I mean, I'm halfway convinced Donald Trump doesn't even believe in God, honestly. But they still rally behind him. It's fucking bizarre. Why?
I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyhow.
Oh, please say it. Be still my beating heart. I am so interested.
Oh, boy.
Because
his hype person in the background knows it's going to be a doozy, too. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Because what's coming next, if we keep losing, you're going to see.
Okay, he's about to tell us. He's making his prophecy now, making his claim. Trump lost. We know that definitively. Biden is the president of the United States of America now. So I'm expecting to be able to look around and see what Jim Bakker is about to describe to us.
The leaders of the church and the leaders of the gospel and the political conservative leaders that are powerful, you're going to see them suddenly die.
Okay. So he's saying that church leaders are going to be assassinated by the Democratic Party or whatever? Is that what he's saying? Is he saying Democrats are going to send out hit squads to, like, take people out? Is this Russia? What is he talking about? Like, I remember hearing all kinds of stories where doctors were describing the things that were happening in Russia during the peak of the coronavirus, or during the early days of the coronavirus. And then they would mysteriously fall out a window. That kind of shit actually happened in Russia back last year. It happens all the time. I mean, there was an attempted assassination on the guy. You guys remember that shit? Does Jim Bakker believe that that kind of thing is orchestrated by the Democrats in the U.S.?
Suddenly, as they were driving, suddenly as they were in a boat, suddenly in an airplane, you're going to see one after. God spoke to me this years ago what would happen near the...
Oh, so he's speaking with God's authority. This isn't just coming right off the top of his head. This is coming straight from God. God told him directly, conservative leaders and church leaders, pastors, would be assassinated by the Democrats if they won. Why do they need to hold office to perform assassinains anyways?
And I believe we're in that time. They're so desperate. This is life and death. This is the hatred of murder is in the country.
This guy is so completely outrageous and unhinged from reality at this point. There's another clip from him of more claims he made, more shit that was going to happen if the Democrats won. So let's listen and see what else he had to say. This one came out August 26th, 2020. So basically a year after the last clip.
Scared for America. I really am. I want to warn America. You're warning America. If we don't turn, we've got a few more days to stand up. It's going to be too late after the election, I believe, but I think if we elect the wrong people and you...
Is this a throwback to what he said a minute ago? If the Democrats take office, we're going to see all kinds of assassinations of pastors? Is that what he's saying? Or I'm not really super clear here.
If we elect the wrong people and you see how wrong it's been, we're going to have a revolution. The church people are going to march in the streets and realize they've gone too far.
Okay, so let's pause here for a second. Did that happen? Was there a revolution, a supposed revolution? Yes, in fact, there was. He's right. January 6th. He predicted that. How about that shit? An insurrection came into the Capitol building and tried to take out the senators and the other members of Congress. So he was correct. Thanks to him, partially, and Trump, and other people who inspired disgusting hatred of the other, tribalism, anger. Thanks to them inspiring those feelings in people and feeding them misinformation. He's right. Self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will.
We can't let people burn America. We can't let the rebellion take over. And this is not going to be a nice place to live.
And this isn't going to be a nice place to live if the Democrats take office. I believe that was the rest of the sentence. I think the U.S. basically hasn't changed at all for the most part since Biden took office. Almost not at all. A few little things here and there. And Biden is moving it in the right direction. But what can you really change in like 100 days or 200 days or whatever? Not much. The U.S. government is designed to take forever and be very difficult to change. It's designed to have gridlock unless everybody is in agreement. And in this radicalized environment that we're in politically, there's no chance in hell of agreement on almost anything. I think the Democrats accomplished COVID relief on a technicality. It was like a budget reconciliation deal. They didn't need the help of Republicans to do that. But they do need the help of Republicans to do literally anything else. Not one single Republican voted for COVID stimulus, for COVID relief. How bizarre is this shit? When people are literally dying and starving to death through no fault of their own, and we can't get a single Republican to help, not one. But we do it ourselves, we get it pushed through anyways, and then the Republicans take the credit for it. It's fucking ridiculous.